Top Hill Recording Podcast, episode 189. Our guest tonight, our good friend, Dusty Bowe.
I ain't sick and I ain't that tired. I'm just a little fed up with the world. Too much drama for a dude like me that ain't even got himself a girl. All these wokesters are waking like vampires are taking blood of the earth right beneath our feet and balls, yeah. Shut up and play a song for me. This world don't give a damn about what you think. We don't always gotta have something to say now. So when in doubt you can't figure it out in a way, I'll just shut up and play. Crazy to me how many believe we'll honestly get to choose who runs the show when nobody knows who really gets to wear them shoes. If there's a time to shake it, fake it till you make it. Do what you want because you're gonna die soon anyway. Hey, shut up, play a song for me. The world don't give a damn about what you think. We don't always gotta have something to say. So when in doubt you can't figure it out in a way, I'll just shut up and play. What you think. You don't always gotta have something to say now. So when in doubt you can't figure it out in a way, I'll just shut up and play. Shut up and play. Thanks, boys. I ain't saving my money for a rainy day. I'd rather spend my time on whiskey and cocaine. What's the point of putting any other away? If I'm alive at 65, I'm robbing me a bank. Cause why not? I've lived more than anybody should. I got away with more than most people could. I got secrets, but I'm taking most of them to the grave. Ain't nobody gonna benefit from my shame. Oh, and you better believe it. So won't you pull me down, oh well, just a little south of rock bottom. I'm just hitting on his all-time low. So light 'em up if you gotta. Ain't part of nobody's big grand design. I'm just making sense of these 8, 9s and dimes. Yeah, and me, Bill, 1, 2, everything in between. They're all queens to me. Oh, give me all them booze, and then just pull me down. Oh well, oh a little south of rock bottom. I'm just us at the rock bottom. I'm just hitting on his all-time lows. So line 'em up if you gotta. Bartender, take my money from me with all my feelings until I got none. And then pull me down another way, just a little south of rock bottom. Thank you.
Great song, man.
I spent lots of nights on my own, many miles unknown. Those moments we had won't leave me alone. Memories we made, them days, your bright eyes that burn through my shade. A woman like you only betters my ways, and I'll listen to you. Commando complain, and I'll be there through all your heartaches and pains. Ask me your questions, tell me all your lies, problems, and I'll make them mine. You won't ever be lonely with any air in my lungs, 'cause I'll be second, even if I ain't the one. I'll listen to you, commando complain, and I'll be there through your heartaches and pains. I'll take you as I can, you can take me as you want. If listening to you is all I get to ever do, I'll listen to you. I'll listen to you. Thank you. Grew up with this young man, was always up to no good. First to cast a stone, last one to say he would. His mama seemed to raise him proper and Christian-like. He sure as hell knew what was wrong from right. Watch him break laws for miles and miles, didn't seem to faze him with that devilish smile. Anything he needed, never out of reach. Maybe that's what's got him spoiled right into the teeth. First was the cocaine, then never got to see. No deeper in the drugs, broke down and robbed the bank. They sent him off to prison, served 10 years time. Couple years down the line, his baby mama died. He stayed stoned, crazy in them pills. Watched him break laws for miles and miles, then see him face him with that devilish smile. Anything he needed, never out of reach. Maybe that's what's got him spoiled right into the teeth. Your days are numbered, suburban outlaw. That silver spoon you hold, to the fire you'll fall. Finally got released, another chance at life. Found him another woman, asked her to be his wife. He beat her until the law came and took him right back to his cell. He got out a year later, then he overdosed himself. Watch him break laws for miles and miles, then see him face him with that devilish smile. Anything he needed, never out of reach. Maybe that's what's got him spoiled right into the teeth. Your days are numbered, suburban outlaw. That silver spoon you hold, to the fire he'll fall. That silver spoon you hold, to the fire you'll fall. That silver spoon you hold, to the fire you'll fall. Yeah, man. Woo! Thank you.
Hey, yo.
Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, brother. It's been a little bit too long, but good to see you.
It has been too long. Yeah, good to see you guys too, man.
Looking over this camera, it's weird.
I know. It's like, it's all right.
It's right in my, hey, buddy. Hey, no, it's cool, man. So, dude, so you're the second person that's done our format with doing the songs first. I gotta say, Earl, I dig it, dude.
I like it. Yeah, I feel like you sounded great. I feel like it flows a lot better, and I mean, definitely sounded good. So.
Yeah, definitely.
I liked it better on my part too. Yeah.
Yeah. How does it feel as coming in and doing that?
Good. It's it's kind of it's you know, you get going, you get warm, you keep going, you stay in that groove and in that flow, and you don't gotta, you know, I like it.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm into it. I think it's a good call.
Right on, man. Yeah. So, how you been, brother?
I've been good, man. Busy.
I was gonna say you've been a very, very, very busy man.
Yeah, man. Been gigging a bunch and just lots of prep work for the tour, getting things figured out, and yeah, just kind of keeping it going. We're leaving in 3 days.
West Coast tour.
West Coast, yeah. Westbound mess around.
Westbound mess around,
Yeah.
dude. That's killer. You just got a ton of merch in, so you got so much going on right now, man.
Yeah.
Just kind of talk to us about that process. I know from the setting up of the run that you're getting ready to make to kind of you're within a week, you're leaving in Friday, you said. What is that kind of getting to that step where you're getting ready to go to this from the build up to now? What have you been ramping up to? What's it been like for you?
Man, it's been really last year was a big learning curve for sure, because it was we were taking out, pulling like a 25-foot camper and this, that, and the other, and you live and you learn and whatnot, and it makes more sense for us just to pull a gear trailer and then stay in hotel rooms and as far as just time and gas and whatnot. But after we started booking the shows I've been working on like the logistics of it and booking mostly since April. Yeah, it's been a while, you know, and that we didn't really jump into it hard, I will say, until probably May, June-ish. But it's, you know, the last month and a half for me has just been like getting the hotel rooms lined up, like figuring out mileage, like about, you know, trying to get sponsors lined up, which we got.
Who do you got? The name? Give us your sponsors.
Yeah,
if you don't
so
mind.
Mom's Music. You know, they're my homies.
Yes, sir.
Been going there, shopping there since I was 13, and Jeff's been really good to me. So they're number one. They've been, you know, been on board since I started this thing and whatnot. But Da Vinci Pay, which is a new, it's a new crypto kind of pay company where you're going to be able to pay, you know, on websites and stuff with, you know, how you can like choose to pay with PayPal. This is going to be like for people that want to pay with crypto and whatnot. And and
sorry about that. You know, technical. It's 2 weeks in a row. Cameras fell.
At least
Studio
they didn't
Ghost.
hit me in the head this time.
I don't know what you're talking about. It wasn't on the video, so whatever.
And
You can
then
leave it, Spencer. Just use these two, man. We're good. Sorry about that, brother.
that's okay. Revive, which is a liquid IV powder, which will be really great
Yeah,
to
you'll
have.
need
Just stay hydrated and like just kind of, you know, get brought back to life when we need it. And then Heritage Print Shop, which is a local merch company, you know, they hooked us up. And then Reyes, which is a new cerveza that they make at Gustavo's, the Mexican restaurant. So we're not going to be like bringing out a bunch of their beer yet, but we're going to be doing some stuff with them after the tour, you know, but they're on board as well. So very thankful for them. So thank you all.
Dude, that's killer. That's awesome.
Thanks,
that you number one, that you get this, have gotten the support from you know, businesses and stuff to kind of throw some stuff at you to help you do that. How do you go about doing that? Is that something that you reach out and it's just communication and relationships that you've forged through time and effort? How's that work?
Yeah. So, you know, the one thing I guess we're offering them is basically just a lot of piggybacking, like advertising for them. You know, we're going to be flying their flag. We got them all their logos on. We printed some tour T-shirts that on the back of them they have all the full date schedule, and then it has all the sponsors on the back of the shirts. And then on the posters we have all the sponsors on there too. And then we have banners that we're gonna have on stage. And then we're gonna be doing a lot of social media, like tagging them and just kind of posting links and stuff where people can go to their sites and this, that, and the other, and just kind of, you know, just letting people know about them too. Yeah. And then, you know, with stuff like with moms, it's, you know, we're, you know, doing, I mean, you guys see, I post a lot of their gear and stuff like that. So that's kind of something, just sharing the love, you know, cross advertisements and whatnot, you know, just collaborating that way. And, yeah. So and that's the thing too, is it's been over like relationships and whatnot, and some connections with, I've been working with a marketing guy, and he's the one that set things up with Revive and Da Vinci Pay and Reyes as well. But yeah, just kind of, you know, raising your hand, asking people. It's like, hey, we're gonna be doing this. You want to like help us out with some fuel? We'll promote you as well. You know, and because we can't pay that, you know what I mean? It's not like we can't really do too much for them as far as other than advertising, which is a big part of a business.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say that's your job. I mean, you know, you are a self-run business on your own, so there's a ton that you get to offer with exposure, and I know how hard you work on the social media ends. Not only for your own stuff and promoting and you know, 60-second song guitar lessons and things like that, which are, you know, super cool and helpful to people that want to learn something new, but also, you know, doing those type of like for moms in particular, playing some of their gear and showing people what the tone is and what they've gotten, and so it's not just a one-sided relationship any means.
Not at all. Not when you, I mean, you're one of the, I think, I said this the other day, I think you're one of the more talented people in the whole city, man. You got like it all going on. You're a great songwriter. You can sing. You can about light that guitar on fire, man. You're a good-looking dude. Like, Thanks, when you're a talented person, you have something to offer, and you have a lot to offer for sure. It's not one-sided by any means.
And here's the thing that it kicks that all over the field goal for me is the effort that you put in, the work that you put behind it. It is not something that, you know, a lot of people, I'm sure me included, and a million people that play music or write music are doing it. I'm going to write this amazing song and sit and wait for somebody to discover me. And that's just not the way that it works if you want to be a successful musician. So, you know, to put in the effort behind all of that, you know, I think that's the thing that gets it for me. You know, you're a lot like that. You're behind it's not all about just writing the songs and doing the stage work.
When we talk about this almost every episode, like when you are a musician and you're independent or mostly independent, you do everything yourself. You book your own tours, you find these sponsors yourself, you write the songs, you got to sing the songs, you got to find the band, you got to pay the band. It's like
a lot of times the first record is you record it yourself in a basement or something like that, or on an iPhone. You know, I mean, we had the Pretty Goods in here last night. And they are really good.
I keep saying that. They are really good. They were
really good, super tight harmony, great songs, and they have nothing out there, you know, which is a shame. We're going to make sure that gets taken care of.
I feel like there's a lot of people around like that, and it's tough, like when you do everything yourself, because you also have to like write the music, then you got to pay for the fucking music, and it's expensive. And
That's how I felt about, and I don't know if he has anything out yet. Jay Skaggs, I saw him on Urals on Top Hill.
He's ridiculous.
He's so good, man.
He's so good.
And then I saw him. You guys booked him. You guys, when you did at the Colonial, it was him and he opened for the Hill Figs, and then I saw him once in the Monarch too. Yeah, he's great.
There's an authenticity to Jay Skaggs.
Yeah,
that you can't fake it.
No,
you know.
I mean, you've had like Vincent Gleason on here too, I think, and he's someone else who around town is his own thing and about as talented as anybody, but has nothing out anywhere. And so, there's a lot of talent in this city. It's just one of those things you have to like put it all together, and you do that, and it's really neat to see. It's good to see you again, by the way. It's been a minute.
Yeah,
and Sam, besides all the stuff you do that we've mentioned, you're also big at the Monarch, which obviously we're fans of.
Huge fans. So. Obviously, we talk about the Monarch. I mean, we love that place.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy because there's so much music. We've talked about the amount of music that's released like per hour in the world, and to think that there are people out there as talented as some of those, you know, Vincents and the pretty goods that don't have anything that really need to. It's just wild.
It is. Yeah,
and some people
no shortage of talent.
Some people that don't need to that do.
Oh yeah, there's a few people like that.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I apologize to anybody that may have taken that one personally.
Well, if they took it personally, they make shitty music. So it's probably their own fault.
Yeah. So, you know, man, I kind of noticed, you know, I think this is the fourth time as a guest. You've been in the Earl's seat as a co-host a few times. And I think from the first time to now, there's been a major transition in the style of music that you're doing. It's no less exciting, no less entertaining, no less fire on the fretboard. Nothing like that, you know, because you came, I believe, the first time, and there was some of the you know, picking, but it was more rock and roll based. And when I go see you live, it is hard driving, rock music at its core. But when, you know, there just feels like there's a transition. Maybe it's since you moved back and you're writing newer songs that you're like turning a corner into a different type of songwriting. Does that make any sense?
For sure.
Do you feel like that's the case for you?
Yeah, definitely. Big time, because there was, and it's you keep evolving, right? Like you keep, you know, just. I saw this quote, this interview from Jason Isbell. I'm not comparing myself to him by any means, because he's something, you know what I mean? Like, who can?
Yeah.
But he said something that, you know, the more you write, the better at it you get, but the harder it gets too. The more songs, the better at it you get, the harder it is to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, that's so true, because it's also, because clearly you kind of, there's some things, I guess, that might get easier as far as like, you know, if you can get in a routine of doing it and this, that, and the other. But I'm not one of those guys. Like I can't discipline myself and sit down or I haven't at least gotten to that point of discipline yet where I can just sit down and write all the time. I'm going to try to do that next year. That's part of the plan for next year. But, you know, I'm one of those guys where it's like, I have to be fed some kind of inspiration. I gotta get something. And then it's like, you know, things will come to me and then I'll sit down and obsess over it for a day or two, you know, and then just try to get it knocked out, at least the majority of it. But as far as what you're saying, yeah, man, like I used to write songs and I really just worried about, I was so focused on what would sound good and maybe be catchy to other people. It was never like, I was always secondary. Like what I liked was always secondary. And that's definitely something I've moved towards a big time. It's just like, don't care what genre it falls under, you know, like or you know, who it might make sense to or who it might speak to. Cause it's just like, it's something that I want to do and something that feeds me and fulfills me when even if nobody ever hears it, just getting it down. So that's something that I've definitely it has taken a big turn since the first time I've come in here for sure.
So do you think that turn kind of started with the Vulture album? Do you think that like you started kind of allowing yourself to write in a different way when you approach that as I'm writing this story, I'm not letting anything get in the way of that story. I'm writing this from, you know, as this concept. Do you think that changed the way you approached writing in any way?
Yeah, that's when I stopped. Like, that's when I was just like, you know, because when I first, I was doing just basically until I came back home. The last 6 years I was in LA, I was in a hard rock band, so I was just trying to, you know, write
looking for the riff and looking for the
radio rock hook, you know, like just that's what it always was. It was just like, we got to write a hit song. We got to write a hit song. It was like literally that's all me and the other writer would try to do. And there's nothing against that. I don't think as far, you know what I mean? It's like, there's worse ways you could be spending your time.
Absolutely.
But as far as like actually doing it for like a longevity and trying to where I enjoy it, it was something, the Vulture and because that was the thing is like I'd bring song ideas to my old band or I'd just, you know, show them to other people or this, that, and the other. And it's like, well, it doesn't really fit what you're doing. It doesn't really fit this lane. And then I was just like, you know, after I tried going into the country world when I first came back home because I was writing some country songs. And then I was like, well, I like to write rock and roll songs too. I like writing blues songs, like heavy metal songs sometimes. And then that's when I was just like, I'm going to pick the favorite ones I got. Don't care if they're not cohesive or they fit. And, you know, and I do understand too, why from like a marketing standpoint, it makes sense to have like, and I get a lot of times when artists, you know, like Earl, you're one too, like you got your niche, like you have your sound, you know what I mean? Like to me, and like Luke's like that, Tyler Hood's like that, Scott Smith is like that, you know, and
sharpen it to a freaking sword, dude.
Yeah, it's just there, you know what
Cutting
I mean?
paper over here, dude.
And
this guy.
And
go listen to the new album, by the way, or the new release. Right, buddy?
Yeah, I got a new EP out.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Go check it out, y'all.
Yeah. I've yet to do that. I'll do that on the car ride home, man.
That's only 12 minutes.
You're gonna love it.
Well, I'm sure I've heard it.
Yeah, just one new song is out. It was the final song off
Jim
the EP.
Beam?
Yep, Jim Beam.
Oh,
Jim
cool.
Beam.
I think I've heard you play that one live, though, too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but I haven't
played
heard the
out
record.
live.
Okay,
Hey, you
cool.
want to have 12 fun minutes and like a good listening experience? Go listen to Earl's
Shit, I'll
record.
finish it before I get down the hill. Then.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Listen to it twice, man.
I will. That's awesome. But yeah, that was, you know, when I was writing, like that was the decision for that record. It was just kind of like, I'm an independent artist. I can do what I want. Nobody's telling me what I can and can't do anymore.
Freedom.
You know? So exactly, man. So it was like, and that's kind of another, I guess, dimension or layer to that the album. It's just fine. It's not just finding yourself, but it's also just like doing what you want to do. Freedom. It's just like, you know, you don't have, you know, unless you're signed to a major label or management company that's like got, you know, creative control over you, which nobody wants that, you know? So yeah, that was a big part of that. I was just like, I can write and release whatever the hell I want.
Yeah.
You know?
Huh.
And
so I want, you know, we've been we've written a couple times together. Earl's been a part of a writing group with
Yeah.
us, and you've written with several people since you've come back. Do you think that's attributed to a little bit of an evolution, just seeing the process for other people? Kind of, does that inspire you to change, or maybe not even change things, but just grab bits and pieces from different approaches?
For sure. Yeah, like that, you know, I think it was the first one we did when we were just, I think it was after Lee from Glory Days played his song, and we just got to talking about how, you know, he always starts with lyrics first.
Mm-hmm.
That's never really been my thing. I'm always
No.
a melody or a guitar riff or progression or just,
Yeah.
you know, and that's
Every time it's always going to be like melody or chords first, and then lyrics kind of fill in, almost like fill in the blank from the
Yeah.
melody.
I write ADD like everything else in my life. I do it. I don't know how it's going to happen, but sometimes it's lyrics. Sometimes it's lyrics with a melody, but I can go, yeah, okay, that's this. What we got? Is that how you do it?
Well, I just got a question actually
what's
for everybody here, because I've been listening to the Rick Rubin podcast.
Oh, yeah,
a
Broken
lot.
Record?
Oh yeah,
It's so
and
good.
It's fucking awesome.
It's so good.
But my question is, because a lot of artists will sit there, it's almost 50-50. 50% will say it's almost like you have to let, and I'm not a religious person, but you almost have to let God into the room. And you just have to let this like almost divine intervention happen in order for you to get a song. But then there's also another 50% that is like, well, my everything is so strategically planned out and like in my head, I can hear every single little part. I can hear this, that, and the other. And I know how it's supposed to sound, but is there like a mix of all of it?
Well,
or?
there's a book called The War of Art, not The Art of War.
Yeah,
The
it's a
War of
great
Art.
book.
Huh.
It's fantastic.
You know, you talk about getting out of the way and letting God in the room or whatever. It speaks of the muse. You got to get out of the way and let the muse take over, because it's not something that you're creating. You're trying to grab this moment and express whatever that is that comes through. And it's written just like The Art of War. It's you know, one page with 38 words on it, and that's your thing for the day. It
sounds like my kind of
Donald
book.
Presley, I think.
I think I
got
gave you
pictures
that
too?
book.
I know, I bought that book
Did you?
years ago. I
Okay.
think it's Donald Pressfield. That sounds right. Something like that.
Okay.
But it's phenomenal because it speaks of art in a manner that allows you to kind of take yourself out of it a little bit, which speaks to the let God in the room. And I think that, you know, there's a million different ways to write, and I think that's one thing that I've learned in this room, talking to a million different people, is everybody that approaches it in a way that is unique to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. I've said that a bunch on here too. That's one of the cool things about music is there's like everybody does it a little different, whether it's how you write or you sing or how you book shows. And there's not necessarily a right or there's some wrong ways, but there's not necessarily a right way to do something.
For sure.
And it's cool. And I like kind of the point you made from that book that, yeah, sometimes you're not trying to necessarily get something out as you are trying to just let something come to you. I always think when I'm writing a song more like, it's almost like a sculpture that's like, it's a block that there's something already in there that you're just trying to get out. And so more than you're trying to create something from nothing. I don't know. Every time I hear someone talk about sculpting, they're like, it's in there. You just got to pull it out.
Yeah, it was in there the whole time. You just had to get the rock out of the way.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Shut up.
I don't really write.
I never
in a
saw
way
that dick in that rock.
Spencer, going back to what you were saying and like and kind of connecting with what we were just talking about as far as like writing with people, that's something that I feel like there's sometimes I'll have when I have an idea, like if I have a full idea, which would be like a riff, verse, and a chorus or something like that, I'll have an idea of what I want it to, what I want it to sound like sometimes, but often when co-writing, a lot of times that changes and goes a different direction, which I love that. It's where it's like, and that's to me is almost like the letting God in the room would be like, you know, literally just not having any shame, just spitting out some gibberish lyrics to see what fits, letting other ideas kind of like letting go of what you had. You know, it's for me. I guess that's kind of where I would take that whole.
What about like being surprised? I mean, is that something that when you're co-writing sometimes and you allow yourself to let go, where they take it is like, I would have never. That's shocking.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you mentioned Lee from Glory Days. I wrote a song with Lee recently, and it was funny because Lee was like, "Man, I never would have wrote this song." I'm like, "Shit, dude, I never would have wrote this song." Like, I just felt like it sounded more like Lee, and Lee did not think it sounded like him. And I was like, "Man, this is a cool tune." And yeah, never on our own would have written that song.
So the thing that I've learned that very first circle that we were in at Monarch, sitting in the big room, I think there were 9 of us or so that day. 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Me, you, Scott, Earl, Lee, Drew, Kevin. So when we went around, there are ways that songs hit you.
Yeah.
There are ways that even if you're a music first listener, to where I want to hear where this goes with the chord progression or the melody or whatever. What if you're not even listening to lyrics? Like, you know, you listen to Lee or you listen to Scott, the one thing that somehow transcends everything is they hit you with an emotion that you go, can you write that? Like, you know, because it is there are songs that are just guttural at some point, and you know, you go, does the approach change the way, if you're approaching a song with a sense of that intense emotion and that like thoughtfulness, does it change the way that it hits other people? Because I think sometimes, like you, Dusty, you know, can go either way. But if I make a cool guitar riff, it's going to be a song. I'm going to figure it out, and that's what I'm leading with. It's going to be, hey, listen to this. I want you all to get in this groove with me.
Yeah.
Where I don't. You know, it's harder for me to write lean-in lyrics, which I think that they
I agree.
Same,
big time.
Same. Yeah, I was gonna say I tried it after Lee. You know, I was writing some stuff down. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm thinking, and then like, okay, what I wanted to sound like. You know, like it wasn't as much my thing.
Yeah.
You know, it just wasn't.
Everybody's different.
Yeah, man.
And that's why I liked writing that song with Lee, because I was like, I never would have fucking written anything like this. Like, it was very, very different than anything else I've ever written, and it was cool. Like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, Lee just had some chords. Like, we were at the Monarch. We went upstairs, and we're like, what do we want to do? Do you have any ideas? He's like, no, but he had some chords, and I was like, all right, fucking, those are cool chords. Let's do it.
Cool.
And some stuff came out. Just kind of a song about life. Like, it's kind of a sad song, but it's like when you're writing. I never had done a lot of co-writing, but we were both so stoked to be writing this sad ass song. We're like, this is
oh yeah, man, that's great, dude. I can't wait to hear that.
The circle will start up again, man. Once this is transitioned to which I don't know. I mean, maybe we should talk about that. That hasn't been talked about at all.
Okay.
Know? All right, so there's going to be some major transitions coming up at the studio, man. So this place will be moving to a home near me real soon. So, you know, it's going to be, hopefully nothing will change. The biggest thing is the sound quality, but yeah, a little bit of a transition coming up for us. So visually it will look different. Hopefully audio wise, it won't be any different. But you know, that's what's going on. A little bit of, you know, Brad's still involved in all that. That's what matters more than anything. So,
will there be any kind of hiatus? Will there be any just with the changeover?
I don't think so.
Okay,
we're going to try to do it really, really quickly. Transition this thing to my spot. The biggest thing will be whoever comes in. The first couple may get really screwed with their audio quality. Like, I don't know why the sound is bouncing off the walls.
Pig, man.
But no, it'll all right. You bring the band in.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So we'll it'll be cool. It'll be fine. I've just been nervous and I miss my buddy a lot, and that's the main thing. But other than that,
you
man,
got a good spot at your house, though. I think it's gonna be good.
It'll be fun, man.
Sure.
It'll be fun. I've got all kinds of ideas, and you know,
change is hard, but it leads to opportunities. I think
for sure
everything will be
for sure. Cool. You know, just to kind of jump back to a little bit of songwriting thing and just inspiration and stuff like that. I did hear something the other day from Johnny Cash that was that really, really kind of stuck with me in the way that I think about songwriting. And he said, you know, a lot of people can go, all right, well, next Tuesday, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write a song. And that's what I'm going to do that day. I'm going to sit, and you know, a lot of these, especially because he was in the Nashville songwriting circuit, and he said, that's just not me. I've never been able to do that. He said, now I can schedule next Tuesday to go outside and go on a hike. And then he said, when I get home, there's a really good possibility that I'm going to get a song out of it. But I can't schedule a songwriter. I can't schedule a song making for you. So, you know, when you hear guys like that and people that just, when it hits you, you know. You know, you think of like the Dolly Partons. Do you think that she meant to write Jolene and I Will Always Love You on the same notebook page, then one page after the next?
Yeah.
I mean, it just, something hit her.
Yeah.
She was in the moment. She was going through some stuff, obviously, with her marriage was ending. She knew where she was heading was just in a total different direction. And on one page was Jolene, and on the next page of the same notebook was I Will Always Love You. I mean, think about
fucking
that.
wild. Man.
Think about that. I mean,
insane.
that's crazy. You talk about it's just, you know, that's something hitting you.
Yeah,
in
that's
a
not
weird
what
way.
my notebook's like a grocery list, and then like a fucking list of movies I like when I'm high.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Yeah, it's big old ADD notebook for sure.
So
Sketches and doodles and whatnot.
I got a quick question, and maybe all of you all, because being 22 years old and trying to
What's up, baby?
like
And they said nobody put the baby in the corner.
Yeah,
we most
I'm in the
certainly
corner.
did, buddy. We most certainly did.
So my lifelong dream is to play music, you know, as I feel like all of us is that. My question though is, after watching all of the big people like Dolly Parton, like Johnny Cash, like Merle Haggard, friggin' Tame Impala, I mean, so many countless artists, it's crazy, you know, you watch the documentary series and it's like, yeah, they had like the normal responsibilities for like maybe 5 years. And it's like, to me, being 22 years old, you know, working at a trucking company and wanting to make music my life,
Spinsky.
it almost seems like this weird teeter-totter that you have to balance on a consistent basis of my act, like what is going to provide things for me, and then what is my dream.
Right.
And it's like being on that teeter-totter scale, when does one become too much? And do you really just kind of gaslight yourself out of thinking like, oh, I'm doing this for the money? You know, like right now I can tell you, Penske's a great company. They're, you know, they do treat us really well, but also I'm not passionate about it. You know, I'm only doing it for the money, while then, you know, it feels weird because it's a weird balancing act, you know? So for you guys, how do you all feel about having that? Because with Dolly Parton, she, you know, she was very, very, very young whenever she hit off.
I think it just depends. You know, it's, you know, there's, you know, Chris Christopherson's story.
A little bit of it, but not.
That's a pretty, you know, one, I guess, you know, different. He was like an Army Ranger, like trained people how to fly helicopters.
He killed
Oh,
people.
shit.
Yeah. But he was, you know, he a lot of people, you know, Bill Withers, I don't think he was like 40 something when he recorded his debut album. Like there's a lot of
John Prine was a mailman.
Yeah.
John Prine was a mailman. Yeah, there's a lot of
I know that one.
you know,
That one hits me right here, baby.
yeah, yeah, of course. But I mean, yeah, there's obviously like some you know, Taylor Swift, you know, there's a lot of the people that got into it young. Prince, well, he's a freak, but like, it just depends, man. And I think as far as that goes, like, you know, with you, it's like whenever it hits you and you feel like you want to make a jump or make more moves or whatever, it's like, it's kind of depends. You know, I packed up and left and went to LA when I was 21, but I was working day jobs and stuff out there too. And I think a lot of, you know, until there's a lot of people that I know that are signed to major labels that work day jobs when they come home from tour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of smoke and mirrors when it comes to the music industry for sure. So it's, again, there's no same thing as like songwriting. There's no like one way or 10 or 15 or 1,000 ways to do it. It's just like, it's however you can, well, you know, find your entrance.
I think that's it. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think like it's like I joke always because my wife's a vet that there's more than one way to skin a cat. Like it is, there's a lot of ways to do something, and yeah, I think whether it's music, you do music or not, I think as a person you have to balance your life, and so
For sure.
there's always something. Like I say all the time, if I work 10-hour days, and it's like if I didn't work, I would be so fucking good at guitar, but where the fuck would I have a guitar? I would have no money.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
I gotta have a job to pay for the band, but if I didn't have a job, I would be better songwriter. I might have more songs, but it is a balance, and it's tough. I think that's just life.
Well,
yeah, legit.
I think the very first thing you need to do, Spencer, if your goal is to be a traveling musician and do some stuff, is you need a sugar mama.
Bring home the bacon.
Get you a sugar mama.
You can bring home the weed.
That's a numero uno. There you go.
Be set.
Now, I think, number one, everybody that you named, when you named the artist that you named, were older artists who could make a living on one hit song. I mean,
things are so different now.
You're looking at a different thing now. So not only are selling physical copies totally gone to where you're making, even if you made 50% of a CD, you're still making at least $5-6 an album. And if you sell 1,000, that's $50,000 to $60,000 that's directly out of your pocket that can be streamed for free online or for next to nothing on Spotify.
Yeah, basically nothing.
So you're having to, you're looking at artists, that are not only having to carry their merch on every tour, that throw in the back of the truck or in the van or in the trailer, they're having to sell that after playing a show, having to sell themselves and do meet and greets and do all these things that it's so different. And not only are they having to do that, they're having to do it themselves. There is nobody lining that up for them. They're having to make those concessions and do the books and do the accounting and make sure that at the end of this thing that they at least don't lose money.
Yeah.
Because that's what it boils down to right now for people that we know mostly. And Dusty, I'm not speaking for you, but the goal is to get the art out there.
Yeah.
To spread yourself and hope that you don't lose money. And if you can make money on that way, good. That's bonus. I mean, that's huge.
For sure.
And that's the goal. The goal is to make money, to sell the T-shirts and do those things because, I don't know if it's changed since back in my day, but you don't make a ton of money from a venue. They're just not willing to pay you $1,500, $5,000 to come in and take a gamble that you're going to bring people the first time.
No, they'll give you half the door and take 20% of your merch.
Unless you're a cover band. If you're a cover band, you can do it.
If you want to make money, be in a cover band.
Yeah. And a lot of your probably friends that are musicians for a living, that's what they do. They'll do their original band and then they'll play the cover band where they do a wedding and make, $1,500 a person because people pay crazy stupid money to hear Sweet Caroline and that bullshit that you can't stand to play another note of, but you do it to sell your soul to play your own stuff. I don't know, man.
I saw a meme the other day where it was like, someone's like, I'm in a tribute band and I made $1,500. Someone's like, I'm in a cover band and I made $1,000. And then someone's like, I made original music. I didn't know we were getting about that.
I lost $300 last week, and my wife's mad at me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, dude. It's the grind of it is worth it. Just
and I
to
think
get
that's
it out.
part of it too. Like I played sports and stuff too, and I knew lots of guys who could throw a baseball over 90 miles an hour, and they worked at the grocery store. Like you just sometimes you have something, and you just don't want to work hard enough to actually get where you want to go, because just because you sing and write or even if you're really good, you don't always want to do all this other shit. It is a lot of work. Like the amount of emails and stuff and time I spend to book like one fucking show sometimes can be forever. Before we started, you talked about trying to get out to Austin and that you were trying since like May and could not get in anywhere, couldn't even get a reply.
No responses. Man.
Yeah,
it's a lot of work
for
to get
3 years. Just because exactly. It's the thing now. So.
Yeah, and it's also too like. Like what you were saying, I guess kind of, you have these like ace athletes and stuff and people that might be, young like prodigy musicians, but once they like get out there in the field and they like kind of see all the other stuff they have to do, because even if you get signed to where like you only got to worry about writing and playing, and still it's like you still got to go on the road. You still have to go, like, you know, some people hate not staying in their own bed. Some people, you know, and that's literally like there's a lot of people that I knew or know that like had stories like that. They got like a break, or they caught this big wave for a bit, and then they were just like, yeah, they've realized it wasn't something they wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know, like it's
I knew lots of guys in sports like that who were like legit. I remember when I was a sophomore and I was at the University of Pikeville, there was this freshman, this little skinny guy, and they're like, I hear this guy throws 88. And I'm like, no, he fucking doesn't. And then he comes out and he had a fucking arm. And I was
freshman.
like, yeah, he had a cannon. And I was like, oh shit, this guy can play. And he'd much rather party and have fun, and he quit halfway through the season. And we got other like guys like me who could barely throw 80, and I'm like trying my best just to stick around. It's tough. There's a lot of stuff to do, and I don't think it's wrong to if you just want to play music and you just go play at the open mics or book local shows. Like, it is a lot of work, and you will like there's like a constant. It seems to be a constant learning curve as well that you'll like. I don't know. Maybe you get over it eventually, but you're always like learning something new that like trying to find out or figure out, like whether it's booking or recording. There's always like something new to try or figure out. It's tough. It's a lot of stuff. It's fun, but
so much.
It's not for everybody.
And you're dealing with a ton of other personalities, one way or the other. If it's booking or band members, or
you never know who you're going to run into.
There's always
a
something.
dick.
There's always a dick in the.
There's always a curveball. Like, for example, I'll just throw one out there that happened to me recently. My drummer Nick, we're still on good terms and love him like a brother, but he left to go on he got picked up on another tour.
Oh,
so
no.
this was 3 weeks ago. So
No.
fortunately, 3 weeks to 4 weeks total to find a new guy that's down to leave for 6 weeks, which is the second year in a row this has happened. Drummers left, but month and a half before the tour.
You and Nick have been playing for a year solid or something.
Yeah, right? yeah. And again, like, there's no bad blood. I hated him for 12 hours, and we made up, quickly the next day. And but
I'm mad at him.
No, man, he got offered a great tour and whatnot, and I can't blame him. But we got another guy, Michael Stone, who's a phenomenal drummer.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. Mom's Music. Yeah. And we had a last
Mom
rehearsal.
sponsors you and sponsors your drummer.
That was something so funny. Another shout out to Moms for being cool to let me steal one of your instructors. But that was just like, he was the first guy I thought of too, because he also plays with Matt Redmore, who's coming on the road with us. And but yeah, man, those kinds of things happen. Like it's a life full of obstacles.
No doubt, dude.
You know what I mean? Like, but there's so much reward to it, because it's just like, it's like, I already know, like, there's going to be so much, like, just the drives are cool. A lot of the driving is good and this, that, and the other. But then, like, the parking, the load ins, the load outs, the breakdowns, the dealing with like drunkards and all this stuff. But it's like just having those moments on stage. Like, you could have the worst day and you could just have like one song that you're just like, the band's on fire. It's like, like, there's no other way you could do it unless you were those people in that room at that moment. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the whole, I guess, the pinnacle of it for me, is like just those moments on stage when it's like, this is why we're doing this.
All right, so number one thing that you're least looking forward to on this next tour, heading out west.
Oh, for sure, the California gas prices.
Oh yeah,
they're like $6.50, $7 a gallon.
Shut your face, man.
Oh, fuck that.
So you better take some 5-gallon.
Yeah, you might have to find another sponsor or two.
Yeah, dude, Chevron, you want to sponsor this tour?
Shell, where you at?
Circle K down at the bottom of Fairdale Road. You want to do it?
Somebody posted that the other day. I was in this really great mood. I just picked up like all the new merch, and then I got home and saw this. Like, one of my friends in LA posted, I think it was $7.15 for regular, but I'm pretty sure it was over by like LAX, so it's not all LA, but it's still like, it's $6 something a gallon. Who
cares?
Out there. I know.
Like, great, I need 2 gallons of gas.
Yeah. So fortunately, when we're gonna be in California for like 3 weeks, but we don't have any, like, I think the longest drive we have is like 4 hours. We don't have. It's not going to be too crazy. We'll be pretty, tightly bouncing around the state. But that's probably the thing I'm least looking forward to is that bill. But we got the sponsors.
Hey,
You know?
all right. So
Go with that.
number one thing you're most looking forward to.
Man, the Viper Room show is going to be really great. I haven't played there since February 2020, and I got some of my best friends on the bill. Brandon Bauman, who's been a guest on the show, Hillbilly Harold, which is a great band, done a bunch of gigs with. Matt Redmore's open in the night, and then a buddy's band, Wavy Trees. They're out there. They're like kind of like beach alternative party rock. They're fun. But that'll be great, just honestly, being out, but as much as that show, we're going to be camping at Laguna Seca Raceway. You can camp there when they don't. And I've been playing I used to play Gran Turismo and Forza, these racing games growing up. And I never went there. It's in Monterey, but I always that was always my favorite track to race on the game. And then we booked a gig in Monterey. So definitely want to try to go to the fairgrounds too, where they had the Monterey Pop Festival. But we got a couple days. I just got on to see if there was any races happening at Laguna Seca, and then it said non-event camping. I was like, what? You can camp there? So I checked it out on the map, and on one side of us it's just the mountains in California, and then on the other side's the racetrack. And they're having, it's not a race, but it's a Lotus meet, a bunch of dudes with Lotuses will just be driving around the track. So
that'd
be cool. Go out there, smoke some vegetables and
legally
smoke vegetables. Yeah.
Legally.
But I'd say and just being out there, I don't know, man. That's the thing too, is another thing, as far as touring, often the least, last year when we played, I was looking forward to playing New York City. But when we got there, I was like, dude, this is gonna fucking suck. Just it was just so, nothing against New Yorkers, but y'all got a thing or two to learn about manners for sure. And just used to Southern. I'd open a door for somebody, they'd look at me like I got two heads and say hi to people. And this was mostly in Brooklyn. Again, nothing against New Yorkers. Had a great time there, but manners, check them out. And but we played, we were we had this real long day just trying to find a parking spot and get to the venue. And there's a couple hiccups, and then it ended up being literally my favorite show of the tour. Just because once we got in the room, great crowd, just really energetic, and it was just it's one of those things, just completely flipped. I was having a terrible day, and I was just this is not gonna be fun, and then we got up there and killed it, and it was my favorite show of the tour.
Right on, man.
Yeah, so you just never know.
So plans for some a new record anytime soon?
I was going to put out, I still might, but I'll probably not now, just because again things change. I had plans to put out that Southern rock record, Smothered, Covered in Funk. I'm definitely gonna Mess Around's coming out 2 days.
Hey,
yeah,
listen to it. It's out now
on the 4th. Yeah. 10-4. That's it. That's 10-4. The date. 10-4, baby. But it's out now. What am I talking about?
Yeah. Listen to it now, you guys.
Stream it.
Stream and mess around.
And then Shut Up and Play will definitely come out if later this year, if not early next year. But then I don't know. As far as I think I want to get a couple music videos for new songs, and I have some other new ones I've been working on. I think I'm just going to be putting out singles, next year, just as, because it's one of those things. Content. Yeah, man. And then also just putting out songs while they're fresh to you. There was this, I remember seeing this thing, because we have that capability now. There was this interview with John Mayer who was talking about, how it used to be you'd have to write all these songs, and sometimes you'd sit on them for a year or two, which there's nothing wrong with that either. Mess Around, me and Luke wrote in 2012, and still one of my favorite songs that I have.
Uh-huh.
But that was, it's okay, it's time to put this one out. But sometimes there's songs that I write, and I'm like, man, this is how I'm feeling. I want to get it out, within the next month or two. And it's you can do that now.
Yeah. Totally.
And so I want to try to, you know, somewhat take that approach, but also just be more strategic with trying to get, you know, the most bang for your buck per release. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just kind of really, and also get better about like after you release a song, still promoting it. You know, there was, I think it was Tyler, the Creator, somebody that was saying something about how so many people put, all these artists, you'll put months into promoting a single or an album, then it comes out and it's like you promote it for a week.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like
he said promote it for a year.
So yeah, it's so true, man. It's like, especially when it's out, it's like here, you don't have to say, hey, here it's coming. It's like, hey, go check it out. You can go listen to it now. You know, you don't need a pre-save link or this, that, and the other. It's like you already have your art.
And I think as an artist, you fail. We all do. If you've written something, you fail to realize that not everybody's seen that post. Not everybody's heard the song. Not everybody's been to a show. You may post it 40 times and people may see it a couple times, you know, but a lot of times you can get in, I think you can get in that rhythm where you're like, well, I've played this song 50 times. Everybody's had to have heard it by now. But that's your own mind thinking.
Totally.
I played this. I think you've got to force yourself to continue to play that stuff and to promote that stuff and to really put it out there. I'm just learning that myself too, you know, because I'm like most, and just learning that Tyler, the Creator way of thinking too, where once you do it, it's not over.
No,
it's just started.
It's just literally, just started. And and there's this guy I've been following. His Instagram and TikTok is Bacon Bits. I don't know if you guys seen him. He has like he has like a cigar a bunch. He's like a long haired dude, but he does A&R for labels and stuff. But he just gives out a bunch of tips for independent artists, and they're great. And he actually, you know, was doing a plan, like a release plan. He calls it a rollout plan that I, you know, bought. You know, because it's essentially, it was like. It's kind of help, you know, how to do some pre-promotion, but then after you release it, he's like, don't put all your energy into promoting it before it's out. It's like, you know, nobody really cares to go click the pre-save link. He's like, they want to hear it. They want to hear. It's like, hey, here it is. Boom. Here's a link. Click that. It's going to bring you to the song. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, dude, I don't know if I've ever pre-saved.
I have.
I do. It's not as much as I wish I could say it was, because I see people post songs. Like, he's pre-save it, and sometimes I always listen. But I'm bad about pre-saving. Sometimes when I open a pre-save link, they want me will open up in a browser instead of my Spotify, and then I'm like, I don't remember my login, and so it's over, and then I have to just wait.
Same. Yeah, like it's weird because it's inconsistent.
It is.
It's not. It's sometimes it'll bring you right to the page, but a lot of times it doesn't. I think it just depends on whatever. There's so many obstacles, but I think that's like, it's you know, that once it's out, that's literally the beginning of your song. You know what I mean? Pushing, because that's how it was, like, you know, that's how it has been before the whole streaming thing took over. It was like there weren't pre-saves for records and cassettes and CDs. It was like maybe you could sign up and get like first grabs sent to you for fan clubs and stuff like that, but it's always like, hey, here's the new single. It's like, it's on the radio or whatever. You at least get to listen to it. It's not like, oh, you know,
it's coming, I promise.
Just an arrogant thing for Spotify and all these platforms to, you know, just keep you on their sites or whatever. I don't know.
Nobody will know B-sides anymore, dude.
Oh, man.
Some good B-sides out there that are never released. All right, brother. So everybody that wants to find you, where can we find you?
Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and Twitter or X, whatever it is now. It's Dusty Vox.
Always Twitter to me, man.
Same. X. Dusty Vox, DUSTYVOX, and then YouTube, Dusty Bo Music, Facebook, Dusty Bo Music, where you can just Google Dusty Bo, and that's Dusty like dirt and Bo like diddly.
Yeah.
And come see us on the tour.
All right, man. Another good one, Earl.
Yeah, that was fun. Good to see you, Dusty.
Yeah,
it's always
you too,
a pleasure.
Man, for sure. But all three of y'all.
Yeah, man.
It's been a great night.
All right, buddy. I can't wait to hear what happens on this tour and come back and tell us all about it.
Rock and roll.
All right, brother.